Hi guys, just quickly before the video begins, this is a longer, more in-depth version. If you want a simpler and quicker video, click the link right here. Hi guys, Luke here from Tag Along, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a fire in the cold Canadian winter. I'm not going to use many tools. I'm not going to use a tarp. I'm just going to be using a knife and a ferro rod just to show you that with the bare minimum, you can still make a fire in wet or snowy conditions. All right, guys, so I found a nice place where I'm going to be making the fire. If you watched my first video, you're going to realize that this is the place that I came to make my fire in that video. Uh, I just didn't want to walk around the forest and try to find a new place when it's snowing, so I just came to a place that I knew. But anyway, so our first step is going to be understanding that any wood on the ground is going to be too moist and it's going to have too much moisture in it. And when it's snowing or raining very badly, any broken branch that usually fell and didn't hit the ground, that branch is usually a lot better than the ground, than finding wood on the ground. But even in snowy conditions, those branches usually fall and land in trees sideways, and it collects the snow on top of it, which then eventually seeps moisture into that branch as well. So what we're really looking for is any branches that have broken off and are still standing straight up and don't have any snow on it. But really, that's kind of rare to find. So what we're really going to be looking for is dead standing trees. So trees that are dead, but they just haven't broke and fell over yet. And they're going to give us the best chance at finding wood that's the driest, because they're not going to have snow laying on the tree since it's standing straight up. And the really best tree to look for is trees that are dead standing, but the top isn't broken off and the tree's still intact, because some trees will be dead standing, but as you'll see, they'll be broken off midway or have the top broken off, and the snow will rest on it. And since it's broken off, it'll be able to seep into the tree still. So the best chance at the driest wood you can find is a dead standing tree that doesn't have the top broken off and the tree is standing as straight as possible and not curved. All right, guys, I bring the tree back to camp. As you can see, when the tree is a dead standing tree and the top isn't broken, what happens is you get the top of the tree and it's these nice little, the top eventually slims down into these nice little branches. And the top of the tree, if you imagine this is standing upwards, there's no way for snow to fall on it, rest, and seep in. Where when I showed you the tree that was broken, as you can imagine, let's say that this tree broke halfway. Well, you're going to have a nice diameter for snow to fall on, and then it has a pathway to the inside of the tree, and it seeps in. All right, guys, so I'm back at camp. Got the tree just behind me. So your next step is you're going to want to break this tree down and process it to the smallest pieces of wood you can have. It's important to understand that when it comes to burning firewood, when people talk about small pieces to burn, what determines if a piece of wood will burn quickly and will ignite quickly is the diameter, not the length. It's about the width. What I wanted to explain before I went looking for the tree is that even if you don't have a saw on you, you don't have to worry and you don't have to just settle for branches. Dead trees are usually so dry and they're so rotted inside that even a decent diameter tree, you can kind of just pull on and you can rip it down. And either you're going to just rip it right out the ground, or if it's like frozen into the ground, the tree trunk itself will snap somewhere and you'll be able to rip down decent sized trees that are dead. The second step is going to be breaking this tree down even more. And near the top, the branches are pretty small, so you can just snap those down, no problem. But when it comes to the trunk, you might not be able to snap it like you did when you ripped the tree down, because when the tree's planted into the ground, you got leverage really pulling on it, but you can't replicate that. So what you want to do is find two trees, where one tree is here and the other tree is here, and then you just stick your wood between them. That way, when you pull on it, the tail end is going to catch this tree, and then it's going to give you leverage to just wrench on it, and you'll be able to snap your tree in half. So our next step is going to be splitting that down into small enough things to get a fire going. So guys, I split these down into as thin pieces as I possibly could. And then so this will be like my main fire starter that I start with. And then I broke down the other pieces into like small, more kindling type stuff that I'll start to put once these start to burn. I mean, I tried to keep this as real as possible and put myself in the shoes of like a normal person. So I didn't use my cold steel bushcraft knife, which made this really hard. I had some flimsy like $10 multi-tool, and every time I went to baton, it wanted to just automatically close on me. And then obviously I bent the tip quite a bit. But yeah, it's making it pretty hard. But I'm trying to keep this as real as possible. So guys, the next thing you want to do once you got out your pieces of wood that are going to start your fire, well, not start, but like be the first pieces you put on, you're going to want to go and make what's going to start your fire, your tinder. And if you're out here in the winter, there's not a lot of tinder besides just wood. So what you're going to want to do is, once you take those pieces that you just broke down that are kind of like where you got the middle piece of the wood showing, you're going to want to go and scrape it with your knife and create these nice little shavings. And right now I'm going to go do that. I'm going to put a link to a video to teach you how to do that. If I show this process pretty slowly and explain it with how much it's snowing, I might not be able to do it. My tinder might get too wet before I'm finished. So I'll put a video to a link to how to do it. But hey guys, so the next step to making your fire is realizing the ground is super cold and it's super wet. And if you start a fire on this ground, it's going to suck the heat out of your fire. So what you want to do is take anything you can, whether it's big size pieces like this, or even a lot of little sticks, and just make a nice platform to where you can start your fire on top of it and give yourself the best chance of making your fire. It can be dead wood, green wood, anything. It can burn, not burn, doesn't matter. You just want a platform to start your fire off of the ground. Alright guys, so I got the fire going nice and good. And I just wanted to mention again that you really need that dry wood inside of a dead standing tree. And it needs to be as thin as you can possibly make it in order to get your fire going initially in bad conditions. Secondly, I want to mention it's also important to know that once your fire is going good, that your fire is definitely capable of drying out and burning wet wood and wood that is also bigger in diameter, such as the wood on the ground or the wood that's leaning in trees sideways, collecting snow on it. This is important to know so you do not continue spending loads of time looking for the perfect tree to split down, and you end up running into the risk of your fire dying because you didn't gather more wood fast enough. Once your fire is sustainable and going strong, you can start grabbing large pieces of wood that are wet, and your fire will dry them out and burn them rather than the wood putting your fire out. Hey guys, one last thing. If you're wondering when a fire is sustainable and can confidently burn wet and bigger pieces of wood, the answer that you're looking for is when you finally have a nice bed of coals. You see, the thing you have to understand about fire is that big flames may look impressive, but they are just gases being burned off of the wood, and they can be put out rather quick due to being wet or having rain or snow or wind. And if you only have flames and your flame gets put out, your ability to heat your wood and keep your fire going is completely shut off. But a bed of coals, on the other hand, is what makes a fire sustainable. That's because coals hold heat, burn slowly, and can't be instantly put out by snow, rain, or wind. Once you have a good bed of coals, your fire can survive wind, snow, and even long gaps between adding wood. This happens because coals are really dense carbon and they have little moisture or gas left, so they burn really slowly and they lose heat really slowly. So guys, I just want to show you what I mean. My fire's dying down, but I still have a nice bed of coals. The flames are kind of battling, but they're not really there. We'll even go ahead and get this wood off, and we'll take any wood away. So now all we have is coals. So as you've seen, I found this piece of wood just lying in the snow. And what we're going to do is we're going to break it up, and we're going to put it right in here where there's no flame. And then we're going to see if we can get these coals to come back to life and get this going, and see if we can build our fire back up. So as you guys can see, almost as soon as we put that wood on and we gave it a blow, it immediately got that wood ignited. Now, once you stop blowing, the flames go out, but like you just sit there and you keep blowing, and eventually you're just going to get your fire going again. So, I mean, you've seen how quick that was. I put the wood on, and then maybe 5 seconds later, I gave it a nice quick blow, and then boom, the fire just immediately ignited. So, that's the power of having a nice bed of coals. Now, if we changed the scenario, and let's say we had this nice flame and this nice fire going, but we had no bed of coals, and I went ahead and I just went whoosh, and blew that fire out, you're done. You're absolutely done. You'll not get your flame back, and you have nothing else to get that fire going. But if that flame went away, and I had that nice bed of coals, even if it rained on it, even if it snowed on it, even if I blew on those coals as much as I could, you're not gonna take the temperature away from those coals that quick. And those coals will stay hot for minutes on minutes to tens of minutes. So that's what you're looking for a sustainable fire. It's the coals, not the flame. So guys, that's the end of the video. And I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. And as always, thank you for tagging along.